Did Ming already do an audio level check with you guys?
He did not.
He did not.
Let's hear one. All right, so let's go around the table. Let me hear you.
Hello, hello.
Sounds amazing. My man.
Hola, ¿cómo está?
Bienito.
Test. 1, 2, 3.
Sounds excelente. Now, is it too... Tell me if it's like too loud for you guys in your headphones. Is it too...
I can hardly hear you.
No, sounds good to me.
I hear her.
Yeah, because my mic is off.
Oh, good.
I'm not important.
Okay.
All right. Audio's recording. Video's recording. Is this recording? Yes. You guys can start whenever you're ready.
It's now to the Instagram world, so it's official. It's a story.
Excellent.
Can we go first with your
My commercial?
your commercial, and I'll give you a little intro.
My commercial. If you're interested in selling your home for top dollar, John Natale from Keller Williams Realty has the proven strategy and marketing plan for you. He has served hundreds of families with his experience, knowledge, and high energy. Call or text John anytime. It's John Natale from Keller Williams Realty, 732-757-7251. That's 732-757-7251. You will be happy to contact him.
This very special, as all of our Functionized podcast, is brought to you by the Fit Lab at Functionized Integrative Therapeutics. 15 minutes a week, your strength training is in, done, and ready to move on and crush life. Now with the all-new IV therapies, you will be bouncing off of walls with nutrients. www.functionized.com. Check us out on Facebook at Functionized. Check us out on Instagram at Functionized. And when you see the new Facebook and Instagram post of #DadBod, see what's up and start commenting. It's getting a lot of traction, and it's a lot of fun to keep on responding to that. We are here with Beauty Brains Braun,
Hello, everybody.
your mad scientist, and by the end of the day, we'll have a nickname for our special guest, John Natale, the most successful real estate agent in the entire East Coast. We'll start with the state of New Jersey and the East Coast of the United States, working his way westward and around the world. And we've always got Christian over there. Yeah.
Rock out, Christian.
Now, why is John Natale such an important guy to have on the Functionized podcast? John wants to answer that one. John has literally embodied of what it means to live functionized. So many individuals will work long hours and go to bed late at night, and that's about it. That's life. Lather, rinse, repeat, retire. Hopefully you've got a good retirement plan and you move on with life. But there's so many aspects of life, such as family. There's your physical, your mental well-being, to make you a true, complete person.
Oh, that's self-care out there.
Exactly. And we've had the fortunate privilege to meet John and get to learn a little bit about him. And the more we get to know about him, we said, he's got to get on this podcast and speak to the rest of the world here.
And thank you for inviting me.
We're so very
Thank you for
happy to
being
have you.
here.
So, John, you're a realtor.
Yes, I'm a real estate broker here in Monmouth County. Fell into it about 15 years ago. My career originally was in Wall Street, trading for my own account, and I had a mutual friend that kept telling me, come to real estate. And he was a big real estate broker, and started with him. And shortly thereafter, Keller Williams Realty contacted me to come to the big time. And it truly has been a great experience to be at Keller Williams. They really are for entrepreneurs that want their own business underneath the banner of the broker. Very cost effective to run your business. And then as you get older in life, you want to share the wisdom. And so I have right now 40 people that work for me. Half of them are millennials. The other half are teachers that are making more money in real estate than they are in school, but they stay for the benefits. And it's just been a great experience leading a whole bunch of people. And then I follow basically one mantra, the 5 P's. Prior preparation prevents poor performance. And if you apply that, unfortunately, I learned it a little bit too late in life, but as you apply it in everything you do, whether it's dating, your meals, the next day, your an appointment, a listing, buyer presentation, anything, you'll be you'll be prepared. You're very successful, and meeting you has been really an eye-opening experience. Again, it's a perfect example. If you have your head down in the phone and you're not looking at other opportunities, a mortgage broker who's a very good friend of mine introduced me to Dr. Mike, who introduced me to you. And again, if you have your head down and you're not, not looking for opportunities or not aware of opportunities, we just miss each other.
All the time, we could be passing each other in the grocery store, and you'd never know until it actually opportunity presents itself, as you say.
Yeah, I tell that all to my team members, all the time that keep your head up because the opportunities are there. So many times. One time, show houses all day Saturday, and it's 5:30. I'm exhausted. I close the last door. I look up, and there's somebody with New York plates looking at the house, and I go like, do you want to come in? And meanwhile they end up buying it, and and if I had my head down going like, let's get dinner ready or whatever, and I would have missed, an $800,000 sale. So that's just my nature, though, and that's what I try to share with people.
Now, when it comes to real estate, for instance, it could be any profession. I know dozens of individuals, next door neighbor, everyone's a realtor. It doesn't mean that they sell anything. They don't list anything, but they become a realtor somewhere. Is it the preparation in your mind that leads to your success, or are there other factors?
Well, I truly believe that everyone has a very, very special talent, and some people never really get to reach it or understand it or don't have an opportunity to express it. I mean, you could be a great singer, but you could have a great voice, but you could be stuck in some in some situation in life that you never get an opportunity to use your special talent. You have a special talent, right, with your knowledge, Shantae, so, right? And I say that to everyone on the team, that everyone is very special. It's different, very different levels of it. Not everybody can hit a Roger Clemens fastball at 97 miles an hour. Derek Jeter can. I can't. So it's important for you to understand that, and once you get that special passion, then you have to do everything you can to learn, practice. I tell this all the time in our profession of real estate. LeBron James practices 95% of the time for that 5% of the time that he spends on the court. We in real estate hardly ever practice our scripts, our negotiating skills. I mean, some of the things that, listen, the top realtors, they practice, but 95% 98% of the industry doesn't. So, but if you want to get to that upper echelon, then you have to apply all the tools of practicing, learning, even this, learning about nutrition and stuff like that. I mean, I look forward to learning more, in the months ahead from Dr. Dan, from yourself, and things like that. It's been really a great experience because it goes hand in hand. If you're in sales or you're in production, the better you feel, the better you're able to think, and the better you're able to take care of the people that you are serving.
That's
it.
Huge. You just hit the nail on the head.
Right? I mean, if you're feeling lousy, yeah, Jim, here's the house. All right, you want to offer 7, 6, But if you get excited and you have full of energy, I mean, that's really my number one card is my energy, and my passion and my sincerity. When you've been doing it for a long time, you're basically just really watching people's behavior. Even yourself. I mean, if somebody says, yeah, I'm coming in at 11, and then they don't show up, then you go like, all right, then you're really not into this. But if you have an 11 o'clock appointment and they come in at 10:50, hey, you love working with somebody that's motivated.
They're on it.
Yeah.
They're on it.
Exactly.
You sound like a manager of a professional organization here.
Yeah, well.
He manages his team.
He does. Yeah. Do you often take individuals and see them as individuals? Meaning, do you treat everybody the same, Or do you know each individual is different? They've all got their strengths and weaknesses, and build up some of the weaknesses and hit on the strengths.
Right. Well, that's a great question. I really follow a really wise man, John Maxwell. He's written a lot of business books and a lot of life books. And when you're a leader and when you're managing people, the 8s and the 9s and the 10s, they just elevate themselves. And you love working with them. The 1s and the 2s and the 3s that are really going to suck your time away from you or away from the productive people, those are the people that really you have to be very careful with your time, and they end up really firing themselves. You don't give them too much of your time, because you give them the glass of water, and if they don't want to drink it, hey, it's like what you have.
Right. You can only do so much, unfortunately.
Yeah, and again, it's your time is the most valuable thing. We do this all. We say this all the time on the team. Your A time is your money time that you're in. You have an opportunity. You're in the batter's box. You have an opportunity to sell a house, list a house, or host an open house. Your B time is all your preparation time. The time that you're preparing, whether you're doing, you're putting together your listing presentation, your paperwork, doing your appraisals, home inspections, anything that preps the money time. And then the C time is your me time, right? That's your family time, your relationship time with your significant other, your wife, your family, your kids, but also your you time. What do you like to do, right? Your exercise time, and time blocking that, because and then when it's all in balance, then you have a life worth living.
Sky's the limit.
Yeah.
Say, this sounds like life.
Yeah.
So many individuals keep saying that, or at least that I come across, that they can't do anything for themselves because they've got to focus on their kids, their mother, their father is sick, the significant other. They're spending all the time on them, but zero time on themselves. And as much as I say to some people, and unfortunately doesn't resonate with everybody, what good are you to them if you're not your best version of yourself? Now, how do you typically find you become the best version of yourself in all the other areas so you can prepare properly?
Well, again, my son shared a great book with me about earlier in 2019 called The Morning Miracle. And usually I was getting up at 5:30. Now I get up at 4:30 because I get another more hour of production. And at this part in my career, because I'm managing so many people, my time is like really crucial, right? So, for example, in the past year and a half, I've really knocked off at least 2 hours of more of productivity. Number one is I bought a Peloton. So now I'm not going to the gym anymore. I'm actually just rolling out of bed. I still belong to a yoga studio, but we cut a lot of that back. So I literally rolling out of bed at 4:30 and onto my yoga mat for 45 minutes of Peloton yoga. Then finish that, jump on the Peloton for another 45 minutes. And now with you, now you saved me another 45 minutes of not going to the gym. Working out at Functionised, which has been a blessing. So, I mean, to me, it squeezes even more productivity. And again, or either work or more time with the fun things I want to do, because I have 7 grandchildren. So, that's pretty important to me. I time block,
I would say,
that time to be with them and to play and to enjoy watching them,
Have you always been very physically active and health mindset?
Probably after my first my first son was born, because I was pretty heavy, and my weight's been always up and down. I mean, I was up as high as 240, 245, then down to 210, and up and down. But now this is the one time now that I finally, with the Peloton, it really helped me, lose the weight and keep it off.
What would you say was your biggest struggling factor before the Peloton lifestyle came in?
It's still the cardio, figuring out when you're going to do cardio, because even if you go to the gym, I would call it like the Fugazi workout, because you wouldn't get your heart rate up. That's what I really love about the Peloton, no matter whether you do 20-minute, 30-minute, 45-minute, or 60-minute. I mean, keeping my heart rate at, my age, 145 to 150 is to me is pretty impressive. I mean, I look at my Apple thing, at my Apple Watch all the time, and I go, wow, that's pretty impressive, to keep it up, and I know that the benefits will be there. You have to be physically fit too, I mean, if you got aches, if you're not able to do it, you can only do the best you can.
Of course, and being physically fit is different to everybody. What is considered physically fit to yourself?
Flat stomach.
Good answer.
That'll come with nutrition.
I always judge myself by my stomach, which I've been a challenge from all my life. I mean, that's like the first place I guess most people just gain the weight, stuff like that.
Well, since abs are made in the kitchen,
Yes,
as
they are.
Shantae has so aptly been able to show the world, what type of nutrition protocol might you say? Lifestyle. I don't like to use the word diet so much because people think diet is such a short-term thing as opposed to a forever thing, but what typically have you adhered to, and do you think that may have been part of a struggle along the way?
Well, I think as you get older, your diet really evolves, because when you're in your 20s and 30s, I mean, it doesn't matter whether you go to McDonald's, 3 or 4 or 5 times a week or anything else like that, as opposed to because you're not thinking about it. You're able to burn it off, or just that's how life is, and then all of a sudden, as you pack on pounds, then it takes mental discipline to cut out sugar, do this or do that. And I think they have a thing in even at Keller Williams, it takes 66 days to make it, to form a habit, right? And you got to do it all over and over again. Mm-hmm. But I think as you get older, and then like again, I met my life partner, and that helped me a lot. And she cooks for me all the time, and she's very, very health conscious. So I think that we're really focused on that. And then you go to health and wellness places, and then or you meet Shantae, or talk to Dr. Dan, and you get even more knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And it's even like everything else at our team. You have to learn, and then you got to implement. And then when you implement, that's it. That's the key. I mean, we can do all the talking we want, all the podcasts we want, but the next podcast better be in the kitchen, or implementing, some of the things that we're learning.
So yeah, Christian, can we move this into the kitchen?
No, and you make a great point, because you can tell people all day long, of what would be good for them, but until the person is actually ready to make the changes, whether it's business, whether it's personal, whether it's sleep, nutrition, anything, you have to be willing to make those changes in order to see the results.
Shantae, after undergrad, where was our kitchen? Do you remember what we used to call our kitchens?
Oh, Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Taco Bell was our kitchen.
Yeah.
I would get half the menu, she would get the other half of the menu, and that was a daily thing, I would say.
I would concur.
Mm-hmm.
And those 6-pack boxes, they were conveniently made,
Well, that, and then followed up with 6-pack of Dunkin' Donuts, and those were the weekends.
Even when Shantae was pregnant, it would be
Domino's.
Domino's at like 10, 11 o'clock at night. How I Met Your Mother, followed by a case of Dunkin' Donuts. It was good stuff.
That was baby number 2. There you go, Xander.
Yeah.
And even with myself, people think that I have been Mr. Perfect forever, because I'm fortunate I never struggled with weight. I mean, I never hit 100 pounds till I was a sophomore in high school. I was skinny as a string bean, would eat cases of Twinkies, Hostess cakes. I mean, it was around, so I ate it. And then it was a conscious decision. Became really about learning about the body and learning about cells and how cells worked and cellular performance and how the brain worked. And I personally wanted to be a better version of myself, to which I think that's why I relate with you so much, because I see you doing the same thing. And it was, all right, I know sugar literally slows the body down. It retards the brain from its best function, so I started cutting that out. And yeah, a big smoothie filled with 100 grams of sugar, it's fruit sugar, is still sugar. So that would be cut out. And slowly but surely, it was a couple years, and then I ended up going purely ketogenic, and then realized, okay, well, long term, not good for the thyroid, not good for the liver. Mm-hmm. And then it was just a slow progression when it came down to the nutrition, and then really honing in. But, that's my thing, learning about that, and then implementing. And individuals like yourself taking those little things and implementing that to make yourselves better, that's amazing. And looking forward to doing more of that with you.
Yeah, and again, it all really starts with like even to every level. It starts with preparation. On my team, we do it all the time. We say, your day starts the night before. You really should. You should know what what appointments you have, what you're doing the next day. You should know what your meals are. You should know what your exercise is. You should your exercise time, what I'm exercising. We have a thing, and a lot of even the millennials, they are listening to me, because I say, what do we do in the first day? As soon as we wake up, we wake up with gratitude, and we have 2 large glasses of water in the first hour.
Hey.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what I do. I mean, that's what I learned. That's part of the morning miracle. Is now you're not guzzling 2 glasses of water, because again, my holistic doctor said, that doesn't do any good. Sip it, drink it slowly, and get all the organs up and running, and you plan your exercise, plan your meals, and you're ready for the day.
It's literally creating your game plan the night before. We were talking about that exact same thing. Having a game plan the night before, you get up the next day, so you're not saying, duh.
Now what?
Now what do I do?
Yeah.
Let me try working here, and you've already wasted a couple hours trying to figure that out.
Again,
right?
if you want a high level of productivity and a high level of sales, or you want to achieve the most you want, that's the menu for success. There's no other way around it.
It's creating those agendas, whether it's business agendas, personal agendas, your workout agenda. When and it's set in front of you, there's less room for error, less room for distractions, and more room for growth. And that's what a lot
and
of
the distractions and drama, that's the other two killers of your time and stuff like that.
For the camera audience, distractions.
Yes.
All right.
As Darlene's over there in the corner playing with the distractions.
They're useful at times.
John, do you find a difference between the millennial generation and, say, baby boomers or even Generation Xers in mental preparation, even success and performance?
Well, it definitely is. Yes, the answer is yes. I've seen it. Seen a difference. Sometimes it becomes concerning, but at the same time, it's like, listen, you have your life to live, and you can lead people. And the 8s and 9s and 10s, as John Maxwell says, will rise to the occasion and follow you and follow your lead and adapt. So we enjoy on the team. We enjoy working with those. And then you're right. It's just another breed altogether. I don't know the answer to it. A lot of them just spend the whole 20s. I think a lot of it has to do with television and seeing MTV and Jersey Shore and some of those things where the males think that they have to act in a certain way, and females, when they're growing up or going through college in the early 20s, they have to act in a certain way. And I think it's kind of sad that most of them just are wasting their 20s, and then by the time they get to 30, they go like, holy moly, I really, I'm 30 and I'm still living at home,
right? Or
I'm still only making $15 an hour, and stuff like that. And really, the smart and savvy people that are prepared, and it's not just people starting to be a doctor or a veterinarian, because again, it's still it's a lot of time and energy, or that takes a lot of your money because you got to get college loans and all that stuff. So it's a challenge. And it's a challenge economically, but still the person that's prepared and hits the ground running when they're 20, 21, 22, they're going to be far better, prepared. And, it's a challenge as you look ahead. You just try to, just be a leader and have people hopefully follow your, lead and listen to the mistakes you made. Listen, I'm 65. I'm not, like you said, you may look at the guy, wow, he's really got everything all in a row, and he's operating now at an efficiency or contentment, what we call a life of contentment. That means when your head hits the pillow, you go, all right, it wasn't perfect, that deal busted, this deal busted, this one's not talking to me, but I did everything I could to have a great day, and let's get ready for tomorrow. And if you live like that, Jim, you got one job, you got to get me to 95. That's it.
That's it?
That's it.
I don't need
95.
to hit triple digits? Okay.
No,
Let's do this.
I'll be happy with 95.
My job just got easier.
I'll be happy with 95.
You mentioned something just now of if a day doesn't go exactly as planned, having that mindset and the skill set to overcome those disappointments. How do you translate that or transfer that to your other team? You know, how can you help them, or what have you found?
Right.
You know,
I think the answer to that is that if you have a lot of opportunities or a lot of balls in the air, you know, you have a lot of deals in the air, or you're taking care of a lot of clients, and it's not that if you're taking too many that some just fall off, but if one doesn't work out exactly according to plan, especially like in a real estate deal, I mean, there's 8 stages to, you know, to get at the closing table, and anything could happen. You know, you have to be a manager of that transaction. And, you know, the average realtor is doing 3 or 8 transactions a year. In 2019, I did personally 147. My team did over 300, 330 or something like that. We did, you know, a tremendous amount of volume. So we're serving a lot of people and taking care of a lot of transactions at the same time. And all of that's on your shoulders. And, you know, and it's a special talent. I know I have it. And I'm not boastful. I just, you know you have a special talent, you know, and then it comes out in your confidence in serving people. But the answer to your question is when you have a lot of balls in the air and then one of them doesn't go according to plan, as long as, again, you did everything you could to save the deal or serve the person with your wisdom, you know, it's kind of a challenge. No one really wants to be told what to do. Oh, Shantae, you need to lower that price. You know, you're always going to get an automatic no.
She'll raise it and like double upon you.
But but if you use your language of real estate or your language, you know, your language of sales, you know, wouldn't you agree, Shantae? We need to get more buyers in the door. And most of the time, usually she's saying yes, you know. And then you go, doesn't it make sense to tweak the price so we can get these buyers in the door? And hopefully, you answered yes to both of those, you know. And then, you know, then we both accomplish our goal. I get the, you know, the price a little adjusted, get more buyers in, and help you, because at the end of the day, you know, you really do want to move, or you want to, you know, move on to your next destination, and it's an important responsibility. You know, people really don't have that view of realtors as being that, but I know I change people's fate many times, whether it's even saving a deal or, you know, they're looking at this, you know, property and going like, well, you know, the perfect one is over there in Freehold, or you know, something like that, not too far away, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
How easy is it for you to recognize the different people in front of you? And I say that because just by using this example with Shantae, you should lower the price. Your whole demeanor changed. Now, to me, you may be more, you know, grab my face mask, get in my face about it, but it's the same message to get to the same end goal. So how easy do you find it is to differentiate that, and do you differentiate that different people to get the same outcome?
Great question. So I think I'm a master of watching behavior all the time, and I say the eyes never lie. So, you know, like when we're, you know, talking to an owner about price, and then we talk about the price, and you look at the eyes, and you know, his eyes never lie, you know, and so I think you know, the true top producers are really people that watch behavior all the time. And I think if you're excellent, you know, if you're top in sales, you're just watching, you know, the people you serve, because their behavior never, you know, when you love a house, it's easy to see. Right. You know, when you're, you know, well, we really like it, but you know, the asking price is $550. Let's offer $410. I mean, you know, you can't be in a relationship. You know, you and Shantae are not in a relationship unless you have this, you have love or a bond. It's the same way with anything. I mean, whether you buy a pocketbook or a pair of sneakers, or I mean, again, that's a different level of love. I mean, I understand, but when you're making a major purchase or a major decision in your life, you have to be all in. You know, yeah, and you have to weigh the risks and the rewards. You know, again, you know, you know, taking a real estate transaction and bring it to like a love. We're not doing seller's disclosures. You know, we're not really filling out, disclosures and what could happen. But you know what? If we did, we'd probably be a lot more well off, you know, and stuff like that. But at the same time, that it's the same chemical. You know, you have to fall in love with the property, or you have to be really motivated. You know, it's time to go. You know, and you know, we tried getting, you know, 980, but if it's 875, then that's what we have to get. You know, that's time to move on.
Is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, money is important. Obviously, you know, there's a lot of money riding, and there's a lot of responsibility, and that's why I'm one of the top agents because I know how important it is to everyone, whether it's 200,000 or it's 3 million. It's all the same, as far as getting to that goal.
In life, it is the biggest transaction most people will face right up front is real estate.
Yeah.
When it comes to weaknesses, what might you say is your biggest weakness? Are you working on it? And if so, what are you doing to overcome it?
It used to be patience, and I think over time, as you get older, you become, you learn to become more patient. I think that was probably my biggest weakness, impatience.
What type of examples could you give for patience here?
Breathing.
Okay.
Yeah, breathing and just letting something go, as opposed, just letting it work out as opposed to having an immediate, reaction. I see the benefits of that, sometimes not saying anything when you really want to say something, and this has happened over many years.
Mm-hmm.
My personality is one of like control freak. I mean, super control freak.
Mm-hmm.
So that if Shante was an owner, and this happens all the time. I mean, in a real estate transaction, we go to contract. Now the buyer did the home inspection. Shantae's the owner, and it's 100 out of 100. It's not 80%, not 90%, but now Shante gets the list of all the repairs that have to be made, and it's 100%. Shante says, "I'm not fixing anything,
Mm-hmm.
nothing." And then the old John used to come over the top and go like, scream because, there's 23,000 in commission on this.
Right.
Okay, I've worked somewhat hard to get this buyer here, and unless you say yes to some of these, or at least let's negotiate, or let's come to a fair agreement, or fair proposal back to the seller. I mean, this 23,000 is going to go up in smokes because the buyer's going to want some repairs. So the old John used to go, argue and become like, "What do you mean? You don't want to fix any of these things," as opposed to changing to that language of sales that I did before. And doesn't it make sense to repair a couple of these? And wouldn't you agree that the roof is leaking, and we really do need to fix a couple of these things?
You're looking into their eyes. You're seeing who they are.
Yeah.
And
Or if
how
you're
to
talking,
get it done.
again, you're watching people's behavior a lot of and again, that's where the patience comes in. I mean, I just had a really big transaction in November, and the same exact thing happened. The owner was old Italian, and so that added another layer of stubbornness. And he had purchased the property. One of the walls on the garage was leaning, and he bought it that way. And of course, not with me, but he bought it with another broker. So
Right.
I sold the house, and then it came to the home inspection. Of course, the buyer wanted that wall. He goes, "I'm not fixing it." So again, there was a monumental amount of money riding on this one,
Mm-hmm.
and I tried to figure out a way to convince him. So I paid for a structural engineer out of my own pocket. I am well capitalized, but I'm also, I had to make an investment to save.
Now you're
to
investing
protect,
for the investment.
to protect that, to protect that huge commission, and then with an expert and patience, because then you let the report lie for a day, and then 2 days later, call him and he goes, "Oh yeah, it's all fixed." Oh, you fixed it all. You went from I wasn't fixing a dime, wasn't fixing one brick, to you fixed the whole wall.
Right.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, he really did want to move, and and that's how it is. So I think so the answer to the question, your weakness is the patience.
You mentioned a really great point in the breathing, and that is something that I focus on a lot with my clients, is improving the breathing, finding that proper rate, because it does bring more awareness and balance to your central nervous system, your cognitive functioning, when you can take that time in that moment to breathe, and decompress, then you're able to make those smarter choices. And it sounds like you've been able to utilize that in your profession.
Right. And my life partner, she introduced me to yoga, which has also been really a godsend, because that does give me the hour of peace and stretching and breathing to just get you to think, and just get you to slow everything down, and especially when you have to recognize your personality, and when you know you're a control freak, there's times when you're not in control. And when you're not in control, that is really where you need the breathing.
Yep.
Because that's the time when you're really most agitated.
Right.
You know, and most anxious and everything else like that. And no one really wants to be anxious. No one, it's not a great feeling.
It's
One
not.
of the number one reasons for anxiety is improper breathing patterns. Most people will either hold their breath and not realize it, or they breathe too fast, and then that's cutting all circulation off in the head, and you just don't focus. You don't execute, what you're intending to do. I deal a lot with moms, and that's one of the things, I just went off on my kids. Well, you're not breathing, you're not taking the time, and that's something that I've learned to do through school, the PhD, and then having 3 kids. You sometimes just have to take a break. Say, mommy just needs to breathe, I'll be right back. And it's okay to do that because you're not going to regret something because of it. Sounds like you can take that moment, breathe, and then, smooth over a potentially rocky situation.
I mean, yoga can be an amazing thing. Remember
Yeah.
when Shantae was pregnant, what was it with Xander?
Xander.
That, I got into yoga with you. I was the guy in the corner, this quiet room. All the women are doing their yoga and their poses, and you hear grunts and groans, and some guy falling in the corner. That was me.
He fell into the wall more times than I can count. Yeah.
I was watching, actually, earlier before I came over here today, Bikram on Netflix.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that was a good show.
It was.
That was interesting.
Up until the womanizing part, I'm getting a little more motivated to get back into yoga as well.
Yeah.
Surrounded by yogis everywhere. And one thing I have realized, though, in the past is we truly have no control. None. We can influence. We can move along and do the best we can. But control oftentimes, at least to myself, I've realized, is such a perception in life. And that's scary at times. It really is. But, doing the best we can, just realizing that we're all doing the best that we can, that part is the comforting factor, at least. And then also doing the best we can for ourselves. Now, with yourself, I know you do other things as well for yourself. What are some of the little things that you like to do to keep yourself grounded?
Well, I go to church, and I think that you take moments of reflection, and I think it's really just starts every single day is almost the same as the repeat. You wake up with gratitude, especially as you get older, because as you get older, you realize that there are a lot more yesterdays than there are tomorrows. And we have some really great speakers. We have some national conventions that we go to at Keller Williams, and some great speakers, and those are also pretty motivating. And that helps you just appreciate every day, appreciate meeting you, and everything as far as it goes, as long as it goes. If it goes for 30 years, and you get me to 95, that's good, But it's just an appreciation of what you've been through. I think that's part of your life. I've had many ups and downs in my life, some crashes, and when you get the chance to come back and come back big, it's pretty satisfying. And then you just want to maintain it, right? I mean, it's like too many up and downs, up and downs, up and downs. If you just try, but it takes focus and it takes attention. You really have to be cognizant of it all the time to maintain a certain level, and then you just maintain it, as best as you can. And it's not like when something falls down that you go, oh well, I don't care. It's just a matter of like, all right, what can I do to solve it, help it, or if I can't, then I just got to be very, very patient. There's a couple of things in my life that I just have to be very patient, and you just you gave up the control of that to breathe, and time will come back.
This patience thing, it's a recurring theme. I've been watching Shantae laugh at that, so we'll just keep on passing that by. But
and the Bikram thing, that was an interesting thing, especially to see like so many people hand over $11,000 to learn teacher training, and there's like thousands of them right in one room. And I think he kept it to like 100 and something, 15 degrees or 100.
Oh yeah, he sweated them out.
Yeah.
They wanted it.
Right. Yeah, it was mean, but
He had a fun personality. You just had to get that type of humor, no?
Yeah, most of them have that cult type of a thing, So
When it comes to gratitude, that I can't say enough about gratitude. It seems like you're very well the same way. I mean, for years, and I keep coming back to it. When times I'm starting to realize, all right, I'm out of control, things aren't going the way, I keep coming back to gratitude. Every single night, giving 3 different things. It can't be I'm grateful for Shantae, the kids, and breathing every night. It's got to be something different.
Yeah.
And then in the morning, waking up, giving thanks for the day. Personally, that has gotten me through years of tough times, and even you have a week here that's not going the right way.
Well, it's shifting the appreciation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when we can shift that appreciation from being frustrated for whatever the situation may be, it actually is scientifically proven to change your neural pathways. So showing gratitude does make people happier. Your brain functions better. And the more you do it, the more you benefit from it. You know, we even have our kids, you know, start, you know, Athena,
Mm-hmm.
you know, if she's frustrated, you know, transition into middle school, there's a lot new changes, you know, focusing on what you can be grateful for, it changes the attitude, you know, and teaching kids at a young age to be grateful, you know, unfortunately.
I think it's very important if you can teach that or share that all the time, and then hopefully they get it. You know, it's important.
It's
know?
not easy, you
No.
know. It's just like working out. It's just like doing everything else. You have to practice it, and the more you do it, the easier it becomes.
I'm
know?
grateful for Christian's smile over there doing this podcast. There you go. Makes me warm and fuzzy.
I'm grateful for Christian's
Yeah,
hair.
it's been a great experience.
The
so far.
hair,
Yeah.
the hair.
Do you keep
plays.
a gratitude journal at all, or do you just be very mindful about what you do?
No, I just as soon as I wake up, you know, and then I carry it through the day. You know.
Give thanks, have
my-
some water, do some yoga, and
Yeah, well, it's a little easier for me because my mom passed in 2011 and my dad passed in 2014, and that's really when my mortality really hit me, and I think that's when the meaning of life really hit me. And then to feel their presence on a daily basis, they're
Mhm.
still here, and that's that little voice. It's always that little voice, and I think ever since my dad passed, that now I listen to that voice every minute of the day. I'm always listening, you know, because sometimes it says, you know, okay, hit this, you know, don't go through the light, you know, don't pass that person. That's my mom and dad talking, you know, and I hear it all the time, you know, and I think I'm more, and then when I became into listening, all of that, my production at work doubled. I was already very successful, then it doubled. And so I know that they're watching over me and helping me, and I just keep listening.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
Putting the energies where they need to be, you know.
yeah,
It's all about peak performance, right there.
right.
We were talking before the show a little bit about belief, and the belief of, in your own personal life, of keeping physically fit is strong. But there's also a belief of a time commitment that you needed that was a lot. When you first came over to the Fit Lab, you were skeptical, as unfortunately so many are, because we have this preconceived notion. What was the preconceived notion, and how did that start to change over some time?
Well, you know, like everything else, I went to the gym 7 days a week to lift. I mean, I was already got into the Peloton yoga or the regular yoga. We do belong to a studio. We go a couple of times a week. Do Peloton every day, and then I used to go to a gym, a local gym. I won't mention who it is, but to exercise for another, you know, to lift for another 30 minutes, you know, for whether it was, you know, and I had a routine. I wasn't doing the same thing every day because you know, again, as you get older, you do read and you're supposed to implement, you know, I mean, if you're doing shoulders every day, I mean, you're just going through the motions. You're not, either you're not building or you're not, you know, you're just wasting a half hour, you know, maybe you're burning a couple of calories and stuff like that. But you know, again, I did different body parts and, you know, try to mix it up and everything else like that. And so when you know, you and I met first, and you said, no, this is it, 14 minutes. I go, this doesn't even make any sense. I said, there's no way. I said, first of all, my personality, I have to do something. I mean, like, you know, my partner knows I'm always moving. I mean, I don't really sit still, and it's not because of my personality. I just want to accomplish as much as I can. You know, I do like my rest. We take plenty of vacation. We know how to rest, and we know how to, you know, have a recovery period. But it's not my personality. So when you introduced me to it, and I go like, this doesn't make any sense. And there I am. I sat in the first machine, and he said, "Are you ready?" And I go like, I don't know. I thought it was TRX, I mean, like I've
All those
done
bands.
TRX,
Yeah, no.
right? So, and then all of a sudden, when all that pressure came down on me like this, and my arms just started to quake, and I'm going like, WTF? What the hell did I get myself in? And then you go and push, and I'm going like, man, this is wild, and then the next day it was a little sore, and I said, but I got to wait another week to go back. I says, I got to call Jim and go, see if I can come back the next day, and stuff like that. No, you got to just do this once a week and stuff like that. And, it does take well, I'm old, right? I'm 65, but I now, before we started the podcast, it definitely works. I see the results. I mean, I saw the results the last session we had 2 days ago. I mean, I go like, holy smoke, even you going like, you got more? I go like, yeah, I got more. I had it. And when you see and what happens, it's like human nature. When you see the results,
now you like it. You want more.
No, you want more. You just want, you want more, and you want to continue. You want to continue that path, and stuff like that, and that's good.
I mean, as we were talking, I knew and understood the research for decades now, and we've been doing it, Shantae, you and I, for a little over a year now.
About a little
14
over a
months
year.
using that. Same way as you. I mean, I was in the gym a couple hours a day. That was the way it was. That's how I coached other professional athletes. That's just the way it was. And getting into it, I had to come back the next day. And then I saw my results. They were pretty awful. So the following week, I waited a few more days. The results still weren't there. And Shantae, when you competed in your first bodybuilding competition after coming off the couch, how many hours a day were you in the gym?
Oh, gosh. I was twice a day. At least an hour and a half of strength training, another hour spinning on the Stairmaster. So there were some days I was there 3 to 4 hours, depending on what my program was.
Exactly. We get that.
And that was 6 days a week. I took 1 day off, and then I would still probably get bored and go do some cardio. But bringing in the ARX was literally a game changer, because with 3 busy kids in school and work, I didn't have 4 hours a day to spend training, in the gym. And for me, that was a big positive shift, but it took a little getting used to, but then when you realize, wow, I can just do this and I can do Carol and I'm good to go. I'm like, what? It's
John, how many individuals do you get that come to your team that do have some experience or years of experience, whether it's good or poor, to your team? Does that happen from time to time?
As physical talk about, or are you talking about
in real estate?
No, in real estate
experience. Yep. Well, I basically I used to enjoy more experienced people, but actually I enjoy the less experienced people now, and then see it, because I do believe, like a long time ago, one of my attorneys that told me, listen, they'll never take a gray matter away from you. You either have it or you don't, and I do believe that everybody has that special talent. It's not for everybody. Especially like, again, real estate, there's no salary. We're totally on commission. And like in 2020, if you said, John, what do you expect to make? I could tell you a certain amount, because I know that if I practice real estate activities day after day after day at my level, that's what I should expect to end 2020 with. Right. However, at this point, I really don't know who I'm selling a house to. I don't know what buyers are going to be buying my listings. I don't even know what properties I'll be listing. Right. I mean, I have a few right now, but again, to be successful in that certain amount of production, 150 transactions personally. I mean, I only have one right now, so there's 149 to go, and I don't even know where they are. But I do know with full confidence that because I've been doing this now the 15 years in a row, that if you practice a certain amount of activities, you'll be successful. Because you're meeting many people, and again, if you're talented, they will be attracted to your energy and your sincerity, and they'll see because if you're pushy or anything, I mean, this is a big transaction. Now there are few realtors that are very, very pushy and going like, Jim, you buying this house or not? What are you doing? And you're going like, hello, this is supposed to be fun. I mean, this is this is supposed to be an emotion. It's a very emotional experience, an emotional decision, and a business decision. And that's where I see so many people getting in trouble, because they're just making emotional decisions and then worrying about the financial. That's how 2005 and 7 happened, because people were just
Right. I'm trying to compare this here a little bit from one to the other. because a lot of individuals have a preconceived notion of what to expect, what to do, but it seems like you also are able to change that mindset to something that ends up being more beneficial for them in the long run.
Right. So people, when they come on the team, we used to take everybody, but now we do have an interview process, and we do kind of feel them out and, give them some kind of then I go with my gut feel to see if they really have it. And then we know early on, just like, anybody you meet,
Mm-hmm.
if you can show them, and if they keep coming back, fine. If they don't come back for another month, we don't want to mention any names, but if they don't come back.
He came back. He did. I saw him yesterday.
But if he doesn't come back, if he doesn't follow, not following then the real estate activities that you have to do, then you're just not going to be successful.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, but basically we know early on, and then we keep working and appreciating and pumping them up and supporting. And I think that's really where, and then that person gets to really explode their production because of our mentoring and guidance. I think that's my role. And there's something in it for me, obviously, but the thing is, and then it's a win-win. Hope you're supposed to be in win-wins as best as possible.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Surround yourself with those that are like-minded, same work ethic, and consistency is key, no matter what the end result is. The more consistent you can be with your teammates, yourself, your partners, your family, the more benefits you're going to get from it.
Right.
I could probably keep on shooting the proverbial breeze with you, John, for
that's great.
Quite some time. Darlene is definitely in it. She doesn't even have to watch the video afterwards. So, Shantae, anything else for today's podcast?
No, it's been wonderful. We thoroughly enjoy having you as a part of our FIT team.
Thank you.
And Darlene.
So, John, before we totally wrap it up, where can individuals contact you and get in touch with you?
Well, the easiest way is always by phone. My number is 732-757-7251. My email is john.natale@gmail, and I do have a website, www.teamnatale.net. And again, if someone calls, you got everything I have to either get you top dollar for your home or find you that dream home.
Do you do any motivational speaking?
Do a fair amount, yeah.
I thought so. So if you want a motivational speaker, give John a call as well.
Yes.
John, I appreciate you being here from the bottom of my heart. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim. It's really been, this is my first time I ever did this, and I'm excited, and hopefully I was evaluated to the community and to yourself, and we look forward to really a lot of long time together.
Absolutely. And for all our listeners down under, DM us anyway, and, you've been heard around the world now.
Okay, thanks.
This is your mad scientist, Jim. Thank you very much for being with us. I am out.
Beauty Brains Braun is out.
John Natale out. Thank you.